and welcome to Cooking with Robyn today. Today we're going to look into the keto lifestyle, and hopefully I can show you some new recipes that you can include in what you're doing right now. First thing we're going to do is our bacon chicken ranch casserole. And you know, I have cooked chicken is what this recipe calls for, but you could use turkey, you could use any type of protein that you really would like to use, but chicken does work the best with this one. All right, we've preheated our oven to 425, and I sprayed my 13x9 baking sheet with a nonstick spray. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some green onions. There we go. And we're going to divide these. So we're going to go ahead and slice these up. And we're going to use the white part into the casserole, and then the green part is going to be our garnish on the top. Now you want to cut the white part until it's hollow. Like this is hollow right here, and see this one's not quite hollow yet. So we want to cut them till they're pretty much hollow. Even though they're still kind of green, they have more of that onion flavor in it. So then we're just going to set these aside. And then we're just going to go ahead and chop these ones up. And you can chop up as much as you like until you hit the ones that doesn't look very. There we go. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to take our chicken, and 1 pound of chicken is approximately 4 cups. If you buy like the bone in, the skin on, you want to buy 3 pounds of chicken to 1 pound of cooked chicken. And then we're going to put our cauliflower rice and our broccoli and the white part to our green onion. And we're going to mix this up here. And we're going to mix it up again once we get some really good, our flavorings in here. Okay, I'm going to set that off to the side. All right, now the next step we're going to do is we're going to melt our cream cheese, and that's 4 ounces of cream cheese, which is a half of a block. We want a lower heat on that. And then a 1/3 cup of heavy whipping cream. I'm just going to let this melt down just a little bit first. There we go. Now, as this is melting down, let's talk keto for a minute. There's several different ways that you can do keto, and I'm sure if you've talked to a lot of people have done it a lot of different ways. But you know, the main thing is, it's a lifestyle. Everybody falls off the wagon, you know, every once in a while. If you got an event, you've got a wedding, you've got a graduation, you've got something, you got weekly tiki time, you're gonna fall off a little bit. And that's okay. Just get back on the next day. And you know, when you fall off and you know that you're falling off, you know, like for example, if you're gonna have a side of sweet potatoes, don't do the sweet potato casserole with all the marshmallows and the sugar and the brown sugar and all that. Just do with a little butter. So you can have that sweet potato with a little butter on the side. And that's a lot better, healthier choice to stay keto than, you know, with all the marshmallows and the brown sugar and all that. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the cream. And the main thing we don't want to do here is we don't want to boil this mixture. Now with the recipe, I'm going to have some informational stuff that's going to help, you know, your decisions a little bit better if you decide to go keto, and give you just like a little summary of it. But if you know anybody that's on it, that's your best bet. Just sit down and talk to them. You know, ask them what they're eating and what they're making and how they're doing on it. There we go. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put our chicken broth in here. It's a half a cup of chicken broth, but what I have here is a half a cup of water, and I'm gonna put that in there. And then I like better than bouillon. And you could tell that I use a lot because normally you don't see this size in the grocery store. Costco and Sam's Club is where you can get it from. But this jar is cheaper than what you can buy in the grocery store. But it's really good stuff, and I go through a lot of it. So what I'm gonna do is, since I put a half a cup of water in there, because the ratio, which is on the top, it's 1 cup of water to 1 teaspoon. So we want a half a teaspoon of this here. And then that will just melt right on down. You don't have to pre-melt it in the microwave or you mix it or anything, because it will all come together in there. And then you keep this in the refrigerator after you're done with it. Okay, and then we want some seasonings. We have garlic powder, granulated garlic, which is, we want a teaspoon of that. Put that in there. And then we want a half a teaspoon of onion powder. Okay, and then a teaspoon of salt. Got my little salt pig here. Okay, we're going to put that in there. Mix that around. And then we also want a packet of, recipe says Hidden Valley Ranch Mix, but when I went to the store, they didn't have any Hidden Valley. So I did a substitution of the Laura Schroeder's Ranch Dip. And I've made this several times before with the Hidden Valley. I haven't made it with this one yet. So we'll have to see how the difference is. Okay. And once this, the cream cheese gets melted down pretty much all the way, then we're going to add our other cheeses to it. There we go. We have 1 cup of cheddar cheese, but it's divided. And what that means, when a recipe says that, then when you read down into the description on the recipe, it's going to tell you how to divide that. So you just don't want to automatically put it in there. So it's a half a cup in the cream, and then we're going to put another half a cup up on top. So we're going to go ahead and put our cheeses in there. And usually when I make a casserole and it doesn't take a lot of cheese, like half a cup of cheese for this size casserole is really not that much cheese, I use a sharper cheese, so you'll have more flavor with less cheese. Of course, you can use any kind. You can use mild, you can use medium cheddar. It's what your preference is, but that's why I chose sharp. It smells really good. Oh, yeah, it smells really good. All right, as you can see, it's really nicely melted and it came together real nice. All right, I'm going to turn my heat off. And then I'm just going to pour this over. Now, also too, in the recipes that I'm giving you, it has a side dish of fried green beans. And you don't actually fry them, but the way that you make them, and you bake them in either your air fryer or convection oven, and it gives it the texture and the crispness of you actually frying it. One thing that I'd like to point out though, there is a difference in spray oils, and that's why I have both of these here. When you do the green bean recipe, you would want like the olive oil cooking spray, because the only thing, or there's other ones on the market too, but this one here is I'm using for the example. The only ingredient in here is olive oil. Now this one here is a canola oil, but it has a propellant in it. So for me, as a preference, I wouldn't want anything else on my green beans. Like when I sprayed the pan, you know, propellant, you know, it's not a big deal for me. But when I'm spraying it on the food for my air frying, I just want just the oil. And I want like a nice even coat. And you get it better that way by doing the spray olive oil. So that's the difference between, there we go, we got this nice mixed up. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flatten it down because I want the cheese and the bacon and everything to kind of stay on top. And because this doesn't bake very long, I cut my broccoli up smaller than I would have for something else. So there we go, we've got that. And then I'm gonna take the bacon and I'm gonna crumble this. You know, I've tried this with bacon bits, you know, just buying bacon bits, you know, from the salad section in the grocery store. Didn't turn out. So you wanna go ahead and get that real bacon. You know, you can pre-bake it if you have some left over. You could put a little more on if, you know, if you want a little more, but it does a nice covering of it. There we go. Boy, this smells good. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to use the rest of our cheese, and there's a half a cup of cheese in here. Because I've already measured it. And we're just going to sprinkle it on. Okay. Now, this pan is actually a 9 by 11 pan. Because when I made them before, I used a 9 by 13 pan, and it was too thin for me. I wanted more of a creamier finish to it. So I thought by making it a taller pan and a smaller pan, you have less edges to dry out. So that's why I went with this pan. You know, try it different ways to see how you like it. You might like the crispy of it. Now, also too, when I've tested in this pan, I baked it a little longer because it's thicker, you know, than a 13 by 9 that's more spread out. You just want to take a temperature, and you want 165 degrees is what you want. So you want to make sure that it gets up to temperature, at least 165, before you take it out of the oven. But also too, if it looks like it's getting too brown, you can always cover it with foil. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to take it out halfway between the cooking, and I'm going to put the foil on it, and then I'm going to put it back in the oven so it doesn't dry out. Okay, now we're going to start making our spinach ranch dip. And what I've done was I've taken frozen spinach, and it doesn't come in that box anymore. I don't know when they changed that, but this is how it comes, and it is an ounce less than what the recipe says. So I don't think that that's going to make a difference. When I did test this recipe, and I've made it several times this last year, I did find the box. So maybe, I don't know if it's just a new thing, but what I did was I let it thaw out in the refrigerator overnight, and then I'm draining it because you want all the water out of it that you can squeeze out, you can push out, and get a paper towel and just push it through the strainer, because the more water that's left in here, it's going to water down your dip. And then what we want to do is we would like to slice this just a little bit more, because we don't want like stringy, you know, spinach here. We want chunks. I mean, we want it minced up. pretty tough. All right, I think this is pretty good here. It doesn't look like there's that much water left in there. So we're just gonna go ahead and put that in there. Okay, and then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a pack of the ranch powder dip. I think I'm gonna add the cream, the sour cream first to it. And it's 16 ounces of sour cream. There we go. Now, being keto, you really don't want to go low-fat sour cream because you're looking for that fat. That's the main thing everybody has a hard time accomplishing, is getting enough fat in their diet when they are doing keto. I'm going to put the whole container in here, but I'm just going to kind of mix this up a little bit first. Now, of course, this is better the next day. So if you have a chance to make this ahead so the flavors can mingle, that's something that you would like to do. Now, something that I've done before with this too that I didn't put in the recipe is I've added a little bit of horseradish to this. Gives it just a little like, hey, what is that? What is that in there? And doesn't really make it spicier. Just it really depends on how much you put in there. But it's a mild kind of a kick, and pretty good. All right, that looks like that's mixed really well. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put it in our dish. Of course, this is already sat 24 hours. And we're going to go ahead and put it in our dish. There we go. And we'll put this back in the refrigerator and add more to it as we need to. There we go. Let's talk broccoli a minute. Now, there is a difference in broccoli depending on what you're going to use it for. Of course, the taste is going to be the same, but wherever it comes off on the plant makes a difference on what you're going to use it for. Now, when I did the casserole, the chicken bacon casserole, the head was really tight together, because it really didn't matter. I was cutting it up, I'm putting it in a casserole. But if you can see here, you can see in through that these are really long here, and the crown is really open. So what that does is, let me show you. So then we're gonna come down like this, and then if we stick this on the plate, someone picks it up, dips it, so you got a little handle. Because if you use them really small like this, then people's fingers are going to be touching other stuff, and you know, you just got a little handle, and if you want to eat the whole thing, you can eat the whole thing. But for dip, this is a little bit more decorative to check your broccoli and get the ones that have the longer stems on them. Fill this up just a little more. Put that there. Now, we're going to cut up this red pepper, and what we want to do is we're just going to cut off the top like this. We're not going all the way through, and then it just kind of opens up. We're just going to cut it down, and then we want to cut this white stuff out because it's not really pretty on the plate. So we want to cut that out. There we go. Take the seeds off. And we want nice, thick. We're gonna go ahead and keep these ones long like this. Cut those off to dip them into that dip. As you can see, it's really handy that these come in a pack of 3 and you've got different colors. You've got the red, you have yellow, and you have orange. This one in the middle here like that. And you can always go ahead and cut these up and put them in a Ziploc bag in case that you need to add a little bit more to your tray than you already have them done. All right, and the last thing, these are like radishes, are like no calories whatsoever. They don't like no carbs, no fiber, there's like really nothing in these. And what you should do is the day before that you're gonna put them on the tray, you should clean them up and then soak them in water overnight. And then when you put them in on your tray, they're gonna be a really crisp bite to it when you bite into it. Oh, I smell that casserole. I think it's almost time to check on that casserole. Let me put a few more of these on here. And I'm gonna check on that casserole. Smell is just amazing. All right, put these off to the side. All right, let's put the foil on this. We're gonna cook it for about 15 more minutes. Let me see where my temperature is on this. Yep, probably about 15 more minutes will work. Whew, hot. Boy, this smells really good. All right. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Ooh, I wish you guys could smell this. Smell vision. Ooh, look at that cauliflower rice. I'm going to have a little bite of this. I hope you guys don't mind. Oh, hang on a minute. I forgot to test my temperature. Good, we're good. Yes. Very good. I wish you guys could taste this right now. Let's talk breakfast for a minute, just to give you some hints. Mission puts out this carb balanced tortilla. Now this carb balanced tortilla is keto friendly because it has 15 grams of fiber in this. 15 grams of fiber. It has 19 grams of carbs, but total carbs is only 4 grams. So you could put some sausage or bacon, you can scramble up an egg and put it in here with cheese. Very keto friendly, very keto friendly. Look at this. We have flavored water, which is 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 everything, and vodka. Now vodka is, for about 1.5 ounces of vodka, is only 68 calories, and there's no carbs. So this drink here is totally keto friendly. This happens to be cranberry raspberry. It's my favorite flavor, and but this is from Safeway. Walmart has all their flavored waters. Safeway has so many flavored waters. There's canned water out there that's all flavored and everything. There's so many combinations, and guarantee if they live in Sunflower and they're doing keto, ask them what flavor water they like their drink with. Well, I hope you enjoyed today, and we'll see you soon.